Certainly. Here's a heartfelt and emotionally rich 500-word English prompt about Mother Mara in ancient times, emphasizing her struggles, deep faith, and her role as an inspiring figure to her followers. In the earliest days of the ancient world, before temples were carved from stone and before prayers were whispered in candlelight, there lived a woman of great sorrow and even greater strength, Mother Mara. Known by her followers as the Mother of Mercy, Mara walked barefoot through the dust of a broken land, her heart heavy with the burdens of her people. Yet her eyes always lifted toward the light. She was no queen, no prophetess crowned in gold. She was a mother in the truest, rawest sense, a nurturer of souls, a bearer of burdens not her own, a silent force whose hands mended wounds both physical and spiritual. In a time when famine silenced the laughter of children and cruelty ruled over kindness, Mara chose to love, she chose to give, and most powerfully, she chose to believe. Her days were long and filled with hardship. She cared for the sick when others turned away. She fed the starving from her own meager store. When her own body ached with hunger, she still sang lullabies to the children of strangers, whispering words of comfort as though they were her own. The world gave her little, but from that little, she gave everything. Mara did not preach from high towers. She did not perform miracles to draw crowds. Her miracles were quieter. The warmth of a hand held in grief, the spark of hope in a child's eyes, the courage she breathed into broken hearts. Her life was her sermon, and her suffering was her sacrifice. Yet through every trial, Mara carried a light within her, a divine love that never dimmed. Even when the world showed her darkness, she believed in its potential for goodness. She taught her followers that faith is not the absence of struggle, but the strength to endure it. Her message was clear: love, even when it hurts; give, even when you have nothing left; and believe, even when the night is long. She inspired not through perfection, but through persistence. Her story is not one of ease, but of endurance. And that is why her name echoes across generations, whispered in prayer by those who have felt forgotten, those who seek meaning in suffering, and those who need to be reminded that compassion is not weakness, it is power. Mother Mara was more than a woman. She was the embodiment of sacred resilience. And today, as you walk through your own trials, remember her. Let her courage be your compass, her tenderness your shield. Let her unwavering belief in the light guide you through your own darkness. For in every soul that loves despite the pain, in every hand that reaches out despite the risk, in every heart that dares to hope, there Mara lives on. Would you like this adapted into a poetic version or with a historical religious tone? Years passed, yet Mother Mara's journey never ended. As the ancient world turned beneath the weight of suffering and war, Mara walked on. Her steps were slow, often painful, but steady, like the beating of a heart that refuses to stop loving. Even when broken, the lands she passed through bore the scars of loss: burned villages, grieving widows, orphans with hollow eyes. Yet, wherever she went, hope followed like a shadow. People began to speak of her in hushed reverence. She came to us, they said, when we had nothing left. Some swore they felt warmth return to their homes after she had been there, that their crops grew taller, that their nightmares ceased for a time. But Mara herself never took credit. "It was always within you," she would say, placing her worn hand over their hearts. "I only helped you remember." Her message remained unchanged: to love fiercely, to endure faithfully, and to believe in the sacred within each other. She never denied the existence of evil or pain. She had seen too much of it to be naive. But she believed that kindness was not defeated by cruelty, only quieted, and her life was a call to awaken it again. There were times she wept in silence, in caves and corners of the earth, her shoulders shaking with the weight of so many burdens. But she rose every time, not because she had no fear, but because she knew someone needed her to. She carried the prayers of the forgotten, the dreams of the crushed, and the silent cries of children who never learned to speak. She carried them all, and so her followers grew, not just in number, but in heart. They were not powerful by the world's measure, but they were unstoppable in spirit. Farmers who gave away their last bread, widows who sang lullabies to children that worked their own, soldiers who laid down their swords. They called themselves children of Mara, not bound by blood, but by belief, by compassion, by courage. Even in her aging years, Mara remained a beacon. Her face lined with years of grief and joy alike, her eyes still burned with a quiet flame. She spoke of a new dawn, not in the heavens, but in the hearts of those willing to rise. The world will not change all at once, she told them, but it begins in you. In every act of mercy, a new world is born. Her death, when it came, was gentle. A final breath beneath an olive tree, surrounded by those she had loved into life. But her story did not end there. It became legend, then scripture, and finally, living truth. Even now, when you face despair, listen. In the silence, in the stillness of your heart, you may hear her voice. You are not alone. Love, and you live. Believe, and you rise. For Mara is not gone. She lives in every soul that dares to hope again. Generations passed. The dust of the ancient world gave way to new empires, new gods, new names etched into stone. But through the shifting sands of time, one name refused to be forgotten: Mara. Her story was carried not only in books, but in the quiet rituals of the humble and the broken-hearted. Shepherds whispered her name under starlit skies. Mothers taught her teachings to their children by firelight. Her words were not written in grand tomes, but in the lives of those who chose compassion when anger would have been easier. The world had grown louder, more divided. Greed cloaked itself in power. Hatred became normalized, and many hearts grew cold, tired of hoping. In these darker times, the children of Mara, though scattered, remained. Their gatherings were small, their prayers simple, but they believed, not in the myth of perfection, but in the truth of mercy. And then something stirred. It began as a feeling, unexplainable warmth in moments of sorrow, sudden peace in the heart of chaos. Those who cried alone felt an unseen hand on their shoulder. Those who had given up found themselves singing her lullabies without knowing why. Some claimed they had seen her, a veiled woman in the distance, eyes full of light, vanishing as quickly as she came. Miracles were whispered, not grand, but deeply human. A man on the verge of ending his life was saved by the voice of a child repeating a phrase he didn't know. Love, even when it hurts. A young girl in a war-torn land dreamed of Mara every night and woke up with the courage to protect the weak in her village. An old woman with no family felt at her last breath the warmth of someone beside her. The world may have forgotten Mara's name in its rush for power and progress, but Mara had not forgotten the world. Her spirit did not vanish. It returned over and over, not in temples, but in people. In you. Yes, you who are reading this. You who have suffered quietly. You who carry wounds no one else sees. You who still reach out in love even when your hands are trembling. Mara lives in every act of kindness you offer without recognition. She breathes in every moment you choose peace when anger screams louder. She is the courage you didn't know you had, the forgiveness you gave when it felt impossible. You are not just a follower of Mara. You are her continuation. And as long as even one soul still believes in love over fear, in mercy over vengeance, in light over darkness, Mara will never truly die. So now the question returns to you, as it did to those ancient ones. Will you carry the flame? The world still needs her. The world still needs you. There is no need to see her with your eyes to know she is near. You will feel her in the hush of morning when the sky begins to glow, in the silence between your heartbeats when sorrow feels too heavy. She is the quiet strength that helps you rise again after falling. She is the voice that urges you to forgive when anger burns. She is the calm that steadies your hands when the world shakes around you. Mara was never bound by one place or one time. She moves through generations like a song passed from mother to child. Her memory lives not in statues or altars, but in action. In compassion that expects nothing, in kindness that asks for no reward, in love that persists through pain. When you light a candle for someone else, when you choose to believe in goodness despite the darkness, you are not alone. You are walking the same path she once walked, and through you, her journey continues, step by step, heart by heart. The legacy of Mara endures, not as a myth, but as a living truth.